but it's still a little bit different.
Yeah. I think in the beginning we discussed, what the ebb and flow looks like with being in Cleveland and the transition process.
Haven't been a head coach off.
That's all right. Mike, great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
New head coach, how's that sound?
Cool for me.
Mike, I just asked Dan as he stepped off the stage what kind of advice maybe he gave you as the transition. You certainly know basketball, but as you and I joked about a month, 6 weeks ago, and I said to Dan, the 18 inches from the assistant coach to the head coach, it's a little bit of a different transition. What kind of words has he given to you and to help you with that transition?
Yeah, Dan's been great throughout the transition. Obviously, him having that experience at being here in Cleveland last season. He's had a lot of advice to give me along the way, and he's kind of just been a helpful ear whenever questions come up. They've kind of set the tone for what that looks like, and now it's our job here with the charge to go ahead and kind of carry that over to our guys, and we see it as a very really good coaching staff put in place that can kind of pour into these guys and help them get to where they obviously want to go.
Obviously, a lot of the pieces to your team are still up in the air, but you do have your two-way players going through.
Just tail off this past off season, and really from the end of last season up until Summer League, he was one of those guys that was around all summer long and was constantly working, seeking out help from the coaches, and saw a lot of great strides from him, and it carried over to the Summer League where he played really well. And all the way into preseason so far, he's been doing the things that we have asked. He continues to grow and just has an amazing character. He's got leadership qualities to him, and he's been great using his voice, but he's constantly trying to learn. He's constantly seeking out help from coaches and wants to get every edge that he possibly can to be successful in this NBA. So I think he's going to be awesome for our team. He's got a great skill set. He's very well-rounded as far as that goes. So we look forward to using him and helping him grow this upcoming season.
Mike, this is season number 10 for you, I believe, when
Yep.
we talked about it. So player development, assistant coach, not so much advantage, but now that you'll be a head coach this upcoming season, with everything you've...
Came in the video room. I served in a player development role. I've served in an assistant coaching role, and now get to move into this seat. JB's been extremely helpful throughout this process with me, and has kind of told me as I go through this and all along, anytime you have questions or anything that you need, I'm here to assist you and help to make this transition as smooth as possible and as successful for you as it can be. The community relations, so I think just having that background and understanding all that it encompasses will be.
For you, it's the whole package now. You don't kind of get to just pick and choose your little part and then turn away. When you look at everything that is involved.
Right now I'm really invested with what the Cavs are doing, but we've had our staff in place for the last few weeks, and really being able to kind of get prepared for our training camp and what's to come, and having those conversations early on versus November 4th.
You mentioned being really involved with the Cavs so far in the preseason. Obviously, fans getting a chance to see them scrimmage right now. Darius just...
And amazing, and I don't think DG's hyping it up when he says the vibes have been great, because they really have been. And again, coaching staff and Kobe, but then also just our players. We just are so, but also guys that are able to play on that floor. And so it's been a really good preseason. Obviously it's fun seeing Donovan
Here at the Wolstein Center for the Game 1 against Motor City. Looking forward to it, my friend.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being
Mike
here.
Garrity, new head coach of the Cleveland Charge, as the guys back and forth running. And Lamar Stevens doing his thing. I didn't get a chance. I was hoping to ask Mike about something you and I spoke about, Kaylee, a couple of times. They do, is they play hard. They play hard last year. JB mentioned it all the time. If you can bring...
Who is coming in and they're developing players, but they've set the mindset of, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to play hard, and that has led to many wins for this group.
Foremost, 41% of the GMs in the NBA said that the Cavaliers had the best offseason and are intact. So right out of the gate, that's a pretty good sign.
That is a very good sign. Yeah, they're building a glimpse of it so far with one preseason game, but we've seen them building that chemistry so far during training camp, and it's going to be really fun to watch because you can tell they just genuinely enjoy playing with each other. And Donovan Mitchell, one of those good characters, one of those good pieces, just a good person who sees And Donovan Mitchell brings out, I think we saw a glimpse of that, 16 points, going 6 for 9 in that first half of the preseason game against the 76ers. There's going to be
that is a nice start. And not to minimize, real quick, not to minimize who, folks, I'm not sure what you're looking for.
I totally agree. And JB has been very honest in saying he wanted healthy competition throughout training camp, and this is what he's seen so far. Players are fighting for positions in training camp right now, and it's going to be interesting to see how some of these things shake out. But again, depth certainly never an issue.
Go, Kaylee. We had talked at practice the other day. I had referenced to you, Donovan makes things look so easy. Darius is so smooth. There aren't a lot of fun between those two, and they're going to, not only are they talented in and of themselves, they're going to make each other better.
And now they can strike a balance. One can be an attacker, one can be a facilitator. They can switch them accordingly and what's going to play to the strength of this team. But to have a pairing of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, two all-stars, a good thing.
I mean, how much fun is it going to be against the Hawks? And I don't necessarily mean this Wednesday for a preseason game, but in the future, in Phoenix, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, I mean, the matchups that just in the backcourt alone are going to be, and it's used the cliche 1,000 times, it's going to be worth the price of admission.
It really is, and I think we're going to get our first glimpse of that when the Hawks come in, and hey, I think Donovan and DG are going to put on a show on a nightly basis. Back and talked about the 1-2 punch they have in the low block as well with J.A. and Evan Mobley.
Well, it's funny you say that because as I get back to the NBA GM survey, 21% the ankle sprain, which again, according to GM Mike Gansey, doesn't seem to be anything serious. Certainly didn't look to be worried about it, but you know, we talk about the backcourt as we should, but my goodness, Evan Mobley, is he 19 years old? I think he turned 20.
I think he turned 20.
Well, at any rate, I have shoes older than him, and he is just spectacular. And for 21% of the GMs to say he's most likely to have a breakout season, I hope 21% of the GMs are correct, because if he gets so much better, my goodness, look out.
Well, that's what I was just going to say is a breakout season given the rookie season we saw from him. I mean, if he's having a breakout from the rookie season we saw, then hey, he is taking a huge step. But that's not out of the question, because I think he understands and is kind of building off of that pressure. He knows that he's going to play such an important
8 rebounds and just about 1.5 block shots per contest.